true crime podcast where best friends and next-door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready, and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian. With me is Willow. Hello, patrons.
Hi, patrons.
Sorry, it's a day or two late, but this case is long and difficult, and especially to get through. So I'm going to go for the trigger warnings.
Don't eat sandwiches
right now. I'm going to shit on them sandwiches. So, weight loss, talk of calorie restriction, talk of weight, dieting culture, child sexual assault, bestiality. It's a lot.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know this story. I mean, I know who we're talking about, but I don't know the whole story, and I'm
just terrible.
Really upset with those trigger warnings.
Yeah. This is not for the faint of heart, and I'm not getting in, I'm okay. First of all, I don't go into the individual victims, of which there's, I think, a total of 14.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty gory details because I can't stomach them.
No.
You can figure it out. It's not that difficult to extrapolate what happened.
I don't want.
And most of the victims are not named because they were minors.
Yeah.
So this isn't about not honoring the victims. I'm not, I'm all about that, but
this is honoring the victims by not talking about them specifically.
Yeah, because I don't know which ones are cool with it and which ones aren't.
Exactly.
And in the interest of time, I don't want a 3-hour-long episode and going into each victim's background. I don't think that's
especially
the kind
if it's
of
disrespectful to the victims.
Yeah, I just don't think it's the kind of attention they would want. Yeah. I wouldn't personally. So I'm going to err on the side of caution.
Yep.
So everybody knows who Jared from Subway is. Mm-hmm. If you grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s, you know about Jared.
Yep, he was everywhere.
Oh, you couldn't turn on the TV and peddling these mediocre at best fucking sandwiches. And my family,
I like Subway.
I don't want to talk about your like of Subway. It's
sorry.
You're on the edge. You're on thin ice. And it's just gonna it was, I remember family even, because after my car accident, I put on the weight, and my family would be like, you should try the Subway diet. And I was
Jesus.
How about you try to go fuck yourself?
So many carbs.
Here's the thing. I want to get into I want to state this right now, how I feel about diet culture and food. Number one, is it food? Can you eat it and not die? Is it going to provide any manner of nutrient or energy, which is calorie? Calorie is just a unit of measurement for energy to your body. Then it's food and it's good. Are we clear? There's no such thing as bad food. Carbs are not bad. Without carbs, your brain won't go. That's right. Literally cannot make thoughts. Yeah, you'll burn fat, sure, but you also won't make thoughts and you'll smell weird. And look, if you're on keto or whatever, I was on keto for a long time for my epilepsy. That's originally what the diet was designed for. I'm not going to police your diet. We're just not going to get into that kind of discussion.
Yeah.
I do not like diet culture. It is just designed to make everyone feel like shit, demonize bodies and food, and we're just not going to do that today or ever. Or I'll eat you. I don't know.
Diet culture. Eat you.
It's stupid. So we're going to talk about Jared. We're going to get into his background. And the only thing remarkable about his background is how unremarkable it was.
He looks unremarkable.
He is a fucking monster.
Okay.
Jared was born in Indianapolis, Indiana on August 23rd, 1977. As a young child, he was described as well-liked and well-behaved and good-natured. He had a very typical upbringing, like the most white, suburban, middle-class upbringing a person could have. I would call it privileged and not typical, personally. His dad was a doctor. His mom was a school teacher. Both parents at home. He was well-loved. That sounds lovely. That is not the upbringing I had. Mm-hmm. In his childhood, despite being a pretty seemingly well-adjusted kid, he was kind of shy, and he used video games in place of social interaction. So now I have to get on a soapbox about fucking video games, okay? If you were a kid, that was, like, if you were born in the 80s or 90s, video games were the shit, okay? Everybody had video games. If you didn't have a console, your friend had a Nintendo or a PlayStation. You would sit around, watch people play, and the media just had a fucking, politicians and right-wing ding-dongs had a fucking field day with video games causes all the ills of the world, the violence and the lazy children. Studies, we have them now, over decades, have repeatedly shown that video games help children be more social, help with cognitive abilities like problem solving, creative thinking, and hand-eye coordination. Video games are overwhelmingly a positive influence on young people. That being said, anything outside of moderation is going to be a problem. Anything. Like if I went into the kitchen right now and I'm just going to fucking eat celery. That's all I'm going to fucking eat. The chances of it hurting me are pretty high. Yes. Celery is really fibrous. It can create what's called a bezoar, which is like a stomach stone. And it clogs up your bile ducts and shit, and you fucking die in horrible screaming agony. Anything over the top is a problem. There are people that are addicted to fucking air freshener, okay? Video games do have addictive qualities. And look, I've known people addicted to gaming.
Same.
I've known several. But I've also known people that were addicted to, like, dudes. You know what I mean? Like, women who are just like, I'm dickmatized. I'm going to have this dick, and I don't care if it ruins my life.
I have a friend that was addicted to cleaning her ears with Q-tips.
Shit's damaging. Yes. Don't do that.
Yes.
If nothing smaller than your elbow should go into your ear, meaning nothing goes in there.
Smaller than your elbow. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Gotcha.
So I just want to clear that up because he became addicted to video games and then kind of by proxy, food. He's definitely become addicted to food. I think it's one of the most difficult addictions out there. And by addicted to food, I do mean binge eating.
Yeah.
So he would play video games and then he would have snacks.
Yeah.
And shit, y'all, what do you think I'm going to do right after I record this? After a long day of research, I'm going to heat me up some goddamn taquitos and take a lactate pill because now they kill me. And then I'm going to play Elder Scrolls until 4 a.m. because I've had enough.
Right.
I get the, like, rush of, like, serotonins and, like, dopamine when you do that because you have the yummy food. It's also comforting. When you're very lonely and isolated, games are really comforting. And, of course, food is comforting. And I maintain an addiction to food is not like another addiction. We need food to live. So it's not like you just say, well, quit food.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly.
Like, if you think about it, your entire life is spent in the acquisition of goddamn food. It's actually really fucking annoying. Yeah. And so, young Jared has all my empathy and sympathy. He started gaining weight as a child, especially around the age of about 8 and up. And it was really hard on him because, y'all, this is the 80s and the 90s. If you think people are mean to fat people now, let's wind the clock on back because they treated you like absolute dog shit.
Yes. Even if you were just like...
Average weight.
Average weight, yes.
Even if you were skinny.
Yes.
Y'all, I was skinny.
Yes.
I weighed 118 pounds and I'm nearly 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
You could see the ridges on my sternum and I got called fat.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're still a long way from being accepting of different types of bodies and appreciating all the different beautiful forms that human beings come in. Clearly we ain't there. Like, I posted a picture of, like, a beautiful sculpture of a fat woman because it looks like me. I was like, wow, that looks like me. And I thought it was beautiful and it was nice. I got laugh reacts on that post.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I eviscerated them in private message. Do not worry.
Good.
And then I laugh reacted all their profile pictures.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, listen, I'm petty and mean. So we're going to move on. But I want all that kind of out as we go forward. Because I don't want to have to keep stopping myself and getting on a soapbox. So moving on. A friend of Jared described him as a smart, shy nerd, a loner. Though he'd started elementary school as a well-liked person among his peers, by middle school he was an outcast. Largely due to weight gain. Jared weighed over 300 pounds by the time he was in high school. And that's really sad. Yeah. It's hard on your body to be that heavy, but
Especially
there's no,
that young.
and that young, because you're already so awkward. And I don't know about y'all, but like realizing and remembering that teenagers have heightened emotions and can't regulate their emotions properly, it probably felt like the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
He was bullied very badly in high school. He tried to make friends, but he just couldn't. He had basically no friends. He ended up being alone most of the time, and he continued to self-medicate with food. And this caused him to be anxious and depressed. His weight gain made him even more isolated, and even, like he even stated in his autobiography, that he felt food was his only friend. And that is really sad. And it's easy to have empathy for him at this stage. You won't by the time I'm done. He graduated from North Central High School in 1995 and went to go to college at Indiana University. By this time, his weight had gone up to 425 pounds by the time he was only 19 years old. He guessed he ate around 10,000 calories a day, and that is a lot. His weight affected every single part of his life. He could not get a girlfriend. He even had to choose classes based on whether the chairs... This almost makes me want to cry. Whether the chairs in the room would fit him or not. And I'm crying because, look, I say all the time, I'm fat. I'm not huge, you know. And even if you're huge, it's not like a moral thing. But chairs, even when I was in high school and I was really skinny, didn't fit me because I'm a big person. I'm just a long, big person. I'm broad-shouldered. I have very long legs. I have wide hips. I've never been able to sit in any kind of seating anywhere that's comfortable. And when I became fat... Y'all, I've broken chairs and shit, and nothing hurts more. And my question is, I don't think you skinny folks is comfy in them chairs either. Why can't we just make chairs that are inclusive for most body types? Because over half the country is considered overweight. I don't know by whose fucking standard, and I don't care, but let's just go with that statistic. If we're all of us a little bit overweight or a lot overweight, then where's the chairs? Where's the chairs? You've been on an airplane. How anybody fitting in there? You can't have junk in your trunk. You can't be bigger than a child.
Especially walking by people to get in your seat.
I'm hitting them with my ass. That's just how it's going. Yeah. And I'm just really tired of it. I shouldn't have to buy a second ticket. And you know what? They should just have seats for people of size, period. They should have seats on a plane for people of size. They should have handicap accessible seats. That we're even talking about this in the year of our Lord, 2023. It steams my head. Anyway, I feel really bad for him there. He also suffered from extreme insomnia due to sleep apnea. Like, he had a CPAP machine and everything, but it was really bad. Like, he would just stop breathing many times in the night. And this caused him to be really exhausted during the day. He would fall asleep in class. He fell asleep in public. And once, like, many times he fell asleep on park benches, like sitting up, because he was so tired. And then it kind of all came to a head for him when he fell asleep behind the wheel of his car. And he hit a tree. He wasn't injured, but it totaled his car, and it was kind of a wake-up call for him. He had to do something about his health, because in this case, his sleep apnea was directly related to his weight. And so he decided he was going to lose weight. And where he lived in Bloomington, Indiana, and where he was attending college, there was a Subway sandwich shop like right around the corner from his dorm. And y'all, if you went to college in the 2000s and then the late 90s, let me tell you, there was a fucking Subway in every college campus. Mm-hmm. I was like, I can smell it from here, and it's not a good smell. Subway has a smell, just like Waffle House has a smell. It's that. So he decided he was going to make his own diet. And this is what he ate every single day without fail for like an entire year. He would eat a foot-long veggie sub, a 6-inch turkey sub, a bag of potato chips, and a large diet soda. This basically restricted his calories to about 2,000 a day. And remember, he's eating in excess of 10,000, so this is going to be a starvation diet for him.
So that was in one day? That wasn't all in one sitting?
Yeah, 10,000 in one day.
I'm saying the foot
Yeah,
long...
he would just space that out. That was his meals all day. He would go buy the sandwiches and kind of like chop them up. And,
Gotcha.
Yeah, all day long, snack on them. I mean, it's not a bad plan.
It's not. No, that's smart.
And we'll talk about whether Subway is actually healthy or not in a minute. Spoiler alert. No.
I'll still eat it.
I mean, you want to like directly eat hot trash, you go right ahead.
I'll eat it.
Put peanut butter sauce on potatoes, so what can I... There's something wrong. Maybe it's brain damage. I don't know. Anyway, in about less than a year, by 1999, Jared weighed 180 pounds. He'd lost 245 pounds. And if you're a woman sitting there going, hot diddly dang, perhaps if I eat these garbage fuck sandwiches, I can lose... Women don't lose weight the same way men do. We hang on to that shit. We hang on to it real hard. Hormones and estrogen helps fat production and fat hanging on to. Because your body may be saying, ooh, we've got to hang on to it in case like the enemy attacks. Because we're still in caveman mode. We haven't evolved out of that kind of shit. And so, yeah, but I'm not going to get on another soapbox. Love of God. Anyway... So he got a lot of attention for this at school, at college. And his friend and a former roommate, Ryan Coleman, ended up writing an article about him in the Indiana Daily Student, which was the college newspaper. He became an instant, like, college celebrity.
That's weird. It's interesting, but it's weird.
I wouldn't like it. Like, I just got known for being the one-time real fat guy who ate these disgusting sandwiches and lost a lot of weight. Like, that's not the life for me. But it didn't take long for mainstream media to pick up on the story. Publications like Men's Health snagged it right up. And while all this is going on, Jared graduated from college in 2000 and went on to work in the Revenue Management Department of American Trans Air. I don't know what any of that is. That sounds like a real job, something I'll never have.
Isn't it the airport?
I think so. I didn't look it up because he isn't like in this job for even a year.
Oh, gotcha.
Wasn't long after this, just 3 months, that Subway reached out to him to make him a spokesperson for the fast food chain. Wow. Oh, and Subway, if you call it fast food, they get all mad. But it is.
How is it not? There's a drive-through.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fresh, Willow. And that's debatable at best. Anyway. I'm going to shit on Subway this whole episode. Jared assumed this would be a series of small local commercials. Maybe one or two if he were lucky. He had no way of knowing that he was about to become an international sensation. He signed a contract with Subway that paid him $1.1 million a year.
What?
I ask you, is that enough to eat nothing but those shitty sandwiches whose lettuce absolutely will give you diarrhea?
I would do it and only have the spinach instead of the lettuce.
Look, I'd just invest in Imodium.
I would do it.
And get a golden toilet or something.
I would do it.
I have diarrhea all the time and I'm nervous.
That's gross.
I don't give a fuck. It's a body thing. You fart like no one I've ever met, so you don't get to talk.
I do.
It's true. Of course, he happily signed the contract because even if Satan himself shit the contract on a rock and be like, where do I sign? Do I sign with your shit or with my blood? Whichever.
$1.1 million.
Yeah, it was a dream come true. Shunned all his life for being fat. Now he was not only thin thanks to those subpar fucking sandwiches, but he was famous and rich. Everyone around the world adored Jared. I never did, but whatever. Jared appeared in over 300 Subway commercials spanning a 15-year period. Rags to riches, zero to hero, etc. So before we move on with more Jared, is Subway fresh and healthy? No. It's fucking no. It's not to say you can't get a low-calorie sandwich there. Mm-hmm. You can. But eating a fourth of a Twinkie is low-calorie too. Is it good for you? Absent of most nutritional value. It's just tasty and it don't pretend to be anything other than what it is, which is why I do like Twinkies. They're unpretentious that way. But Subway claims a lot of stuff, and they really, boy, did they ever remember all those fucking Subway commercials? Mm-hmm. They're like, eat fresh and healthy and you won't be a big fat tub of lard. But the bread has 4 times more sugar than regular bread you can get in the store. The meat they use is so loaded with sodium and preservatives that it's barely meat. anymore. And then there was the whole 2021 lawsuit. Do you remember this?
No.
To where someone alleged that the tuna wasn't tuna.
What?
They said it was mixed with pork. Now, this person was crazy as shit. Okay, it was not mixed with pork. But it's not all tuna either. Occasionally, it's other stuff. Just other fish.
Well, yeah, because most canned tuna is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to rain on anyone's tuna parade.
No, it's a lot of different fish in there.
But here, the way they make the tuna salad is it's like 10 parts mayonnaise to 1 part tuna. Mm-hmm. Y'all are eating a fish flavored mayonnaise sandwich. And look, I love mayo. It is food lube. It makes it go down good. That ain't it, though. That's real fucking gross. I'm just dispelling the myth that Subway doesn't use real tuna. Yes, they do. It's just not very much, and it's the cheapest, poorest quality. The lettuce is frequently contaminated. When I said diarrhea lettuce, I wasn't fucking joking. They've had a lot of complaints over that, but that's not the main issue I have with Subway. Their food's gross, but that's fine. So is Carl's Jr., in my opinion. I think that shit's disgusting. But man, they're just not a good company. And we'll get to that. And also, their franchises are scams. It's almost like an MLM system pyramid scheme they have set up with their franchises. And I won't get into it because this isn't about Subway.
I mean, isn't that most fast food?
No, they have a unique setup.
Oh.
Usually you get support from the, parent company of the franchise. That is not really what goes. You're just adrift. They'll do the ordering for you and stuff. Franchises, you just have to put in you have to do everything, and it's really fucked up. And I'll cover it someday because it's interesting. By 2004, Jared was everywhere. He was on daytime talk shows, commercials. He was spoofed on comedy shows and even appeared on South Park. He took all of the parodies in stride and was a good sport about it. Of course he was. He was rolling in the dough, and not the sandwich dough, but the money kind.
Oh, good job.
Yes, I just wanted to be clear. You know what he really was a media influencer before it was kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was just some regular guy who ate sandwiches and got thin. It told the populace that if he could do it, anyone could, except no, it's not how it works. He was just kind of all set for the rest of his life. If he just kept going, he would have this amazing career and all the money in the world. Jared, by now, had enough confidence to start dating. He began a serious relationship with a woman who also graduated from Indiana University, and her name was Elizabeth Christie. They got married after dating for only a year in 2001. She even appeared in a few commercials with him to kind of up his wholesome image. In 2004, Jared founded the Jared Fogle Foundation, which focused on, his name is so fucking mid, on raising awareness of childhood obesity. And forever I roll my eyes. Because here's the thing. If you want people to be less fat and make healthy food, then make that food not only accessible, but cheaper. Huh? What's less expensive, the ramen or all the fresh ingredients to make homemade ramen?
And teach kids how to cook.
Teach kids how to cook in school. Teach them actual life skills. What did I learn in school? Fuck all.
I learned how to cook an egg different ways.
In school?
Yeah.
They didn't never teach us shit like that.
That was it. That was it. Just fry an egg, scramble an egg, poach an egg. Mm-hmm. That's all I learned.
Well, that's not enough knowledge.
No, because I don't remember how to poach.
Look, the whole thing is if you eliminate poverty, all of these problems I'm talking about will go away. But whatever, what do I know? It seems like Jared was doing a good thing here, right? Like he's going around to schools, he's giving these inspirational speeches, but all of it had a darker purpose.
Ew.
And his reason for doing this
Ew.
was pretty evil because he's a giant bag of turds.
God.
Jared toured for 200 days out of the year for the foundation, and he shared his story and weight loss journey at schools and libraries. The age range? Middle school kids. He would even bring in his jeans he wore when he was at his heaviest, the same old song and dance. Like a monkey with a fez on, he trotted out his old pants. Of course, the kids ate it all up. For most of them, this is the closest they'd ever been and ever would be to a celebrity. Everyone saw Jared on TV back then. He would stay after his big motivating talks and sign autographs for the kids and hang out with them. At this point, Jared was making over $2 million a year, and he was living it up. Gone was the humble beginnings man. Now he's eating rich, fancy food and driving fancy cars and drinking lots of cocktails.
I want that story. Just that section.
Here's the problem. If you have any part of this story, it corrupts you utterly and you turn into an evil cunt. This is just what I've realized. So I will stay meek because that's who inherits the earth or some shit.
Okay.
And as per usual, all of this fed his growing ego until it got completely out of control. But this was a slow descent into depravity. From the outside, he looked like a successful, normal guy doing nice things for kids. But those in Jared's inner circle, from friends to employees of the foundation, saw a different side to him. His nice everyday guy persona he presented to the world was no longer present behind the scenes. He started cheating on his wife with sex workers and other women. He wasn't humble. He was demanding and egotistical. He spent over $12,000 a year on sex workers. And here's my other soapbox for the evening, because this is how it's presented. If you watch any documentaries on this case and you are pro-sex work, they're going to act like he was some evil slime man for paying sex workers to have sex with him. No, he fucking wasn't.
How many politicians?
Don't even get me started on that. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter who's doing it. It could be Jesus Christ paying a sex worker. It could be your next door neighbor. It could be you. You paid them for work. They did the work and everything was gravy. There's nothing absolutely wrong with going to a strip club. There's nothing wrong with paying a call girl to jerk your ding dong. None of that is bad. None of it. That's not immoral. It's amoral, meaning it has no moral value either fucking way. We are in a capitalist society. Going to McDonald's and flipping burgers all day is selling your body and your time, whether you like it or not. And so is sex work, except I guess it's smarter because you're making way more money than you'll ever make flipping a burger. And it only takes 3 minutes if you're good. So you get that $100 for 3 minutes, girl or guy or they. Listen, I'm real tired of it being presented as if this was like his gateway drug to child pornography. No, it wasn't. It just wasn't. So we're off that soapbox now. I just won't stand for it. I'm real tired of sex workers being treated like shit.
Right.
In addition to all of that, he had several ongoing long-distance relationships with women he would meet up with while he was on tour, and he especially liked going to Sarasota, Florida. I don't know why. Which is where single mom Rochelle Herman Walrand lived. She was a radio host of a show about health and wellness, and she was kind of like a local celebrity. And just an aside, the only moral issue I take with Jared cheating is that he cheated.
Yep.
If he had not lied to his wife, if they had an open relationship or had a discussion like, hey, I'm gone all this time, it's just sex, but that is not, he lied to her. And, you know, that's not cool. But other than that, it was gravy. Anyway, in 2006, Rochelle was contacted by the American Heart Association asking her if she would interview Jared for her show. And she's fucking pumped because he's a celebrity. It's only going to get her show more attention and acclaim. So, of course, she jumps at the chance. She can't wait. Right away, he kind of rubbed her the wrong way. He had a huge ego, and he was 30 minutes late for his interview, and it really pissed her off. She didn't think it was professional because she was super professional. And then the interview started, and he is so charming, so easy to interview. He's kind of sweet and affable.
Just as soon as the interview started,
he turned it on, and then he didn't quite turn it off after the interview. He started hitting on her and being very flirtatious, and she found herself charmed. And thus began another affair. That same year, his wife Elizabeth filed for divorce. It was clear that not only was he sleeping with lots of women behind her back, but he was abusive. He was controlling. They would go to football and baseball games, and he would make her cry in public and then tell her the reason he was cheating on her is because she just fucking cried all the time. It's just monstery. That's monster behavior. Mm-hmm. And so she ended up getting a temporary restraining order because of how controlling and he wasn't violent, but he was really threatening. But all of this didn't ding his reputation or tarnish his celebrity one bit. Because the type of celebrity that Jared was, nobody ever focused on his personal life because it wasn't very interesting because we didn't know about it. He was just a fucking sandwich guy. He was the sandwich commercial guy. Who gives a shit?
Right.
And so he seemed kind of invincible. And you know what? He was. The court documents showed a very dark side of him. His controlling nature, his verbal abuse, his general disdain for his own wife. But these really wouldn't see the light of day until his other shit comes up. And I just think that's funny. I just think of all the male celebs who still have careers despite some heinous shit they've done. Mm-hmm. And I think if a woman had done it, she'd be fucking canceled.
Yep.
After his divorce was finalized in 2007, he started a relationship with Kathleen McLaughlin. She was a teacher and a perfect beard. And what I mean by that, not for like, he wasn't gay or anything. A beard is just somebody who like you use as a way to show, see, I'm normal. Mm-hmm. I'm a normal cishet man with my normal cishet wife. And we are white and normal. Huh?
I've been that.
Yep. I was like a willing beard for like a boyfriend that I had. We weren't sleeping together because he was gay, but I went to his family functions so he wouldn't. Yeah. So they wouldn't be mean to him. And and his new wife is like totally into the lifestyle. She only has to put up with his ass for 100 days out of the year. The rest of the time she just gets to spend all his money. Mm-hmm. So I get it. I get why that would be appealing to her. If she knew about the affairs, she didn't let on, although I don't think so. They had been having an affair before they got married for years. So, I mean, if you met him that way, why are you surprised if he's continuing that behavior, So they ended up having 2 children together after marrying in August of 2010, and that's the most disturbing aspect of their relationship. This man should never be around children. It was hard to know what was going on with Jared because he was away from home so much. It was on these tours that he met a man named Russell Taylor, and they became like fast friends, the bestest of friends. Jared didn't know this at the time, but this was the beginning of the end for him. Not only were they best friends, but Russell became an integral part of the Jared Foundation. Russell was catapulted into the public eye. Before this, he'd been a youth marketing director of the American Heart Association, which was a job that was pretty similar to what Jared was doing with the Jared Foundation, which is he went and talked to kids about health and wellness. And this guy is just a depraved scumbag. They ended up meeting in like a big city, and they were talking, and Jared asked him to write a speech for him because he had been impressed with his speech. And Russell did this for free because he's a people-pleasing weirdo. And after that, inseparable, buds, forever together. Like, I almost wonder sometimes if they didn't have a sexual relationship. I don't think either one of them would admit it, but man, it's really pushing the envelope. During the day, Russell and Jared worked with kids, touring and giving speeches. At night, they went to strip clubs together, which sounds pretty homo to me, but okay. Unlike Jared, Russell had an open marriage to his wife, Angela Baldwin, and he was given the all clear to bang as many women as he wanted. And he did, all the time. Because unlike Jared was charming, but like in a sort of standoffish way. He wasn't very good at reeling in and schmoozing. He was just sort of superficially charming. Russell, all the charm in the universe. One of the main reasons Jared liked Russell so much was that Russell didn't judge him for his affairs and love of strippers. He felt Russell could be trusted with just about anything. So Jared asked him to convince a stripper to come home with him, and it is something he had failed to be able to do on his own because he's a giant fucking creep. He promised he'd pay Russell if he had accomplished this. I find it so crazy that with all his money and celebrity, he's going to this strip club and he can't get a woman to come home with him. I've taken so many women home from the strip club and I ain't got nothing. It's not hard. I just think he came off as so slimy and creepy, and he doesn't see women as like women, they're objects. And like, we can sense that shit. But Jared was so impressed, stupidly, that he hired Russell as the executive director of the Jared Fogle Foundation. And they wanted to travel the world together to spread their message of health and wellness. and participate in global sex tourism because the both of them are absolute bastards. By day, they gave their speeches to children. At night, they smoked crack cocaine and hired sex workers. But that wouldn't be enough. Not for Russell, and eventually not for Jared either. Russell had dark sexual desires. He was into bestiality. And you'd think that would ruin a friendship.
It would ruin my friendship with you.
If I knew that you were into that, I'd be like, gotta go. Bye.
I'm moving.
Yeah, I'm out. And I've burned my house down.
Yep.
Also, I'm dead. Do not try and contact me. This is rough, y'all. If you're grossed,
don't want to.
Yeah, if you're grossed out by this, I'm sorry. But Russell would ask his wife to do sex acts with animals, specifically dogs. And Jared was just like, hey, that's pretty cool. The foundation became a way for him to have a squeaky clean image, and eventually he would use it because it gave him access to children. In addition, the foundation raised $650,000 during its most active years, but only donated $140,000 of the money. Can you guess where the money went? Go on, guess. Right into Jared's pockets. Yeah. Right in there. Mm-hmm.
And for other things too, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. And the reason that the foundation finally got dissolved was because he wouldn't pay like some $5 filing fee.
What the fuck?
These people. Mm-hmm. As the world tours kept going on, Russell grew increasingly paranoid, and I'm going to guess it's from all the crack. He thought someone was stealing from him, so he decided to put hidden security cameras everywhere in his house. From his office to his bedroom, and they were motion-activated cameras hidden in electronics like alarm clocks. They would record and save all the video files to his computer, and this is how Russell created his first bit of child pornography. Russell would later claim this was all an innocent accident, a mistake, but I'll let y'all be the judge of that. While on tour, the camera in his office at home activated. It captured one of his underage interns having sex with her boyfriend, and I believe she was 17. If Russell were a decent human being at all, he would have immediately deleted this and fired the girl for, having sex in his office. Jesus Christ. But of course he didn't. Russell told Jared about it, and Jared wanted to see it. He was clearly, really into it. Jared then suggested that Russell put more hidden cameras in his house so they could catch more underage kids having sex or being naked. Jared also then gave him a list of names of kids that he was personally attracted to and encouraged Russell to get videos of those kids in particular.
Ew.
Russell, ever the yes man, agreed to this and installed more cameras and gave Jared access to the video files so his gross subway guzzling ass could watch whenever he wanted. Russell aimed the cameras at the beds and in the bathrooms of his house, and then was told to invite underage kids over. So he did. Russell and his complete scumbag wife would get her daughters drunk, his stepdaughters, and then their friends, to the point where they were passing out and not really in control of themselves. And then the cameras recorded everything. The kids would change clothes, shower, have sex with each other, if they masturbated, all without knowing cameras were watching their every move. And that is absolutely vile.
Oh my God.
Russell put cameras in his stepdaughters' rooms and in their bathrooms. And they have come and spoken out about this. I will link the documentary in which they give an interview. And it's just heartbreaking and so disturbing and disgusting. He would personally review all the footage to make sure it was good enough for Jared. And if it wasn't, he would just keep it for himself on his personal PC like a complete, absolute moron. The relationship between Russell and Jared started to change in very bizarre ways. Jared, just like in his marriage, became very controlling and cruel. Jared used financial abuse to threaten Russell. He would call himself Russell's daddy and would threaten to take it all away if Russell didn't do precisely as he said at all times. Now, Jared had bought Russell his house, a BMW, lots of clothes. He always treated when they went out to strip clubs, and Russell was terrified all of this would get taken away. He would make Russell say how much he loved Daddy and tell him Daddy controls everything.
Ew.
Yucky and barf. The relationship got so toxic and controlling that Jared was even telling Russell what he could and couldn't eat. He would force his friend to eat gluten, even though Russell had gluten intolerance. But don't feel too bad for dear old Russell. He's a shitbag just as much as Jared is. The both of them felt untouchable, invincible. They could and would do whatever they pleased. It didn't seem like anyone was going to stop them. Meanwhile, Jared continued all of his affairs, including the one with Rochelle. At first, things seemed normal. She didn't see him all that often with his busy tour schedule, and she knew there were other women. But pretty soon, Jared started saying stuff she was very uncomfortable with. Once, when Jared was a guest on her TV show, which was it was like a televised version of her radio show, in 2006. It was at a middle school where Jared was set to do one of his inspiration speeches where he'd trot out his old pants. As the cameras were being set up, the two of them were like on a couch, like the couch was going to be used in the interview. And he started by just really complimenting her very sweetly. He told her how pretty she was, and he asked kind of shyly if they could hold hands. Now, this was right before his divorce, but the papers had already been filed, his divorce to his first wife. As a result of him getting divorced, like Rochelle kind of thought, well, maybe I can have a real relationship with him now. You know, maybe, because for her it was just kind of, it wasn't serious. It was very casual. She wasn't dumb. This is a very smart woman.
Yeah.
And she was really attractive and, you know, she had a lot going for her. She didn't need a man, really. And so she agreed to hold hands. She thought it was kind of charming and cute until he leaned over and whispered something in her ear.
Oh.
He whispered that he thought middle school girls were, quote, so hot. And Rochelle was horrified, beyond horrified. This was a man she'd slept with, a man she considered a serious relationship with. She felt like she was going to be sick.
Yeah, me
Revulsion and hate just boiled up inside her. It was so overwhelming and she was in shock. She just absolutely shut down. She froze. At first she thought she'd misheard him. Surely he hadn't said something so disgusting.
Right.
Before she could process any of this, the cameras were rolling. But she had a really hard time getting through the interview, obviously. And when she got home, she still felt like she was in shock.
Yeah.
Clearly, Jared's entire life and what he presented to people was a lie. He wore this mask of a good guy who helped kids, but under it, he was a monster and a predator. You may be wondering, why didn't Rochelle go to the cops? She did. In 2007.
Okay.
At first, she didn't because it was a he said, she said situation. She had no evidence. She had worried at first she'd misheard him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's just watching his career skyrocket. And she's like, who the fuck's going to believe me? I'm a nobody.
Right.
But the thing is, it's not illegal to tell someone something disgusting. It's only illegal if they act on it. And Rochelle knew this. Her complaint that she made to the cops, she knew it wasn't going to go anywhere because she had to get evidence. So what did Rochelle do? She decided to start her own investigation and to gather evidence against him. So first she investigated his past, but there was nothing there. He'd been honest about that. He'd been a shy, awkward, and overweight loner. She'd have to try something else. Rochelle decided that if she pretended she accepted his interest in children, she could get him to talk, and she could then record these conversations until she had something really concrete and damning to go to police with. She felt she had to do this to protect children and to save them from Jared.
Absolutely.
It was slow going at first to earn his trust. She couldn't act over-eager or ask too many questions, but as soon as he let her in, the floodgates opened. He would call her 15 to 20 times a day to discuss his fantasies of raping children.
What the fuck?
Rochelle didn't know if it went past that at first. She just thought maybe this is all just dirty talk to him. She didn't know if he was actually assaulting and grooming kids, but she'd soon find out. Eventually, Jared confessed that he'd been having sex with children all across the world. He was attracted to them regardless of age or gender. Rochelle was sickened. It started really taking a toll on her mental health recording all this, having to listen and play along. Jared told her things like, the younger the child, the better the experience. He told her the easiest children to groom were middle schoolers because they were insecure. The target age of all of his speaking engagements. He also told Rochelle he'd paid mothers so he could have sex with their children, kind of hinting that he wanted to have sex with hers. He said he frequently assaulted children as young as 11. For years, he'd been doing this. In 2011, when she thought she'd finally got enough incriminating evidence against him, she contacted the FBI. And you'd think that'd be it. He's going down. He's going to jail. No. For one, Rochelle had technically broken Florida law by recording him without consent. So there are 11 states in the United States where you need dual consent, meaning both parties must consent to the recording, or that is inadmissible and in fact illegal.
What the fuck?
Florida's a nightmare hellscape with its laws. It sucks because it's beautiful. And two, Jared never gave the names of the children he assaulted. It wasn't enough to get him. 3.5 years of listening to all that awful stuff looked like it would be all for nothing. Jared would either have to send her actual child porn or give the names of his victims. Rochelle was gutted. All of that. But then the FBI offered her a role as an informant in the case. They wanted her to get more evidence. She agreed. Rochelle felt kind of like this was her responsibility. And though I applaud her 1,000,000%, was not her responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
She should have backed out. However, she had 2 kids to raise, and this was really ruining her life. Her kids were around the same age as the children Jared was abusing. After the phone call with Jared, Rochelle would sit alone in her room, turn off the light, and sob for hours. Sometimes the conversations would make her throw up.
Yeah.
And I just feel so bad for her because her heart is so in the right place and she's so brave. Once, Rochelle discovered that her young daughter had gone into her office and read the notes she'd taken on Jared. And at this point, she decided she couldn't do this anymore.
Yeah.
It was overtaking her life.
Fuck.
So she quit. With all of her work, the FBI still wasn't able to use her anything to arrest him. And this also gutted her. Obviously, she'd endured so much just trying to protect kids and bring this shitbag to justice, but for her own sanity, she had to step away. Now, hold on to your butts, because this is going to make everybody mad. Prepare to be mad. Remember, Rochelle went to police in 2007. 2007. Jared wouldn't be arrested until 2015.
Jesus.
An anonymous tip to police made on Russell Taylor came first. The tip said that they had been given a video that was bestiality that included Russell's wife. And I'm not going to say what the act was because I can't make my mouth go.
I don't want to make my ears go that way.
Investigators scoured his home, found all the hidden cameras, and then, of course, the footage that he'd recorded of his other children and his own stepdaughters. And then a photo of a naked child in a clearly very suggestive manner, which had been emailed to Jared Fogle. It was all that was needed to take the Subway celebrity down. Following Fogle's arrest, the FBI also subpoenaed a series of text messages made in 2008 between Fogle and Subway franchisee Cindy Mills, with whom he was having a sexual relationship at the time. In these messages, Fogle talked about sexually abusing children ranging from the age of 9 to 16. He told her to sell herself for sex on Craigslist and asked her to arrange for him to have sex with her 16-year-old cousin. Her lawyer said that she had alerted Subway's corporate management about the text messages, but that they had responded that because Fogle was not a Subway employee, there was no violation. Subway representatives said they had no record of her allegations. So basically what I'm saying is Subway knew that Jared was molesting kids, and he was still their representative, and they knew as early as 2008. And they didn't do anything. And you and I both know, that's me, patrons, and Willow, that this is not the first accusation against Jared. Yeah. I'm sure there were dozens.
Yeah.
But they didn't care. They didn't care until what, the bestiality tape?
Because they had to have proof, solid proof.
They had proof because they had those text messages.
Oh, right. Yeah,
they should have turned them over to the fucking police. He solicited a 16-year-old child for sex.
So fucking gross.
Jared entered a plea deal and is now serving a 15-year and 8-month sentence. I'm, again, not going to cover the victims. In addition to that sentence, the parents of one of Fogle's victims filed a lawsuit against him for personal injury and emotional distress. Jared filed a motion arguing that the parents are actually liable for the injuries because the parents fought and abused alcohol in front of the daughter, because that's how much of a fucking piece of shit Jared Fogle is. On October 24th, 2016, Kathleen McLaughlin, now remember that's his second wife, her lawyers filed a suit against Subway in Indiana. The suit alleged that Subway violated her privacy and property rights and caused personal injury to her by covering up at least 3 instances of Jared's behavior that reported to senior management, including the allegation that Subway senior vice president of marketing hushed up a 2004 incident in which Jared propositioned a young girl at a promotional event at a Subway franchise in Las Vegas. So again, Subway's covering for him, even when he was their spokesperson and before he started the Jared Fogle Foundation. It just makes me mad.
It's disgusting.
The lawsuit, though, was dismissed in October of 2017. The judge said the court lacked jurisdiction since their principal business operations were outside Indiana. I mean, shit like this just fucking steams my head, y'all. He had potentially faced other charges as well. In New York, it was related to victims 13 and 14. Potential state crimes included statutory rape, trafficking persons for sexual reasons. Jared's federal plea deal had no standing in New York because this is a state charge, not a federal charge, because he was originally brought up on federal charges. Mm-hmm. But New York dropped the case. Yeah. They should have fucking nailed him to the wall. He needs to be in there till he's dead. So, what happened to Russell?
Not enough.
Russell went to fucking jail too, as he should. So did his turd wife, Angela. She was sentenced to 27 years, and he was sentenced to 33, and that's more fucking like it. So, Subway's evil and disgusting. Don't eat there. I mean, here's the thing. Let's all be clear. We all know that Chick-fil-A takes money and donates it to, like, places in Africa where they legitimately execute people for being gay. Hobby Lobby, if you're trans, will fire you. If you're gay, they'll fire you. Mm-hmm. Maris always makes sure to piss in the Hobby Lobby bathroom whenever we have gone. Mm-hmm. They have also stolen artifacts from Iran. So that's cool, Hobby Lobby. Why am I telling you all this? Because if you ate at Chick-fil-A or today you got yourself a very mid sandwich from Subway, I'm not going to judge you, and you're not a bad person, because let's all grasp this concept real quick. Mm. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Literally everything you buy, from your clothes, let's say clothes, and like a pot holder and pots and pans from Walmart, that's all made with prison labor, where prisoners are paid pennies a day. And look, just because you're in prison serving your time doesn't mean you're a slave. They should be paid a living wage, like everyone else, so that when they get out after serving their time, they have something to fall on. Because a lot of times when people are let out of prison, they don't have any money. All they got, the clothes on their backs.
And they're literally set out on foot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know, I had to walk. Not that I went to prison.
Yeah, when I went to jail, I also had to walk like 3 miles in hooker flip-flops. Didn't enjoy that. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, like, we don't want reoffenders, but we set them up to reoffend.
Yes.
So there's one instance, everything, like eating a tomato. You do know that was picked with migrant labor, probably undocumented. These people are paid fucking pennies, and then we treat them like shit, lock them in camps, deport them while they'll be murdered by cartels, which is what they fled their country to escape. And I don't want you to feel bad. Because it's not me and you, y'all. We're the little guys. What are we supposed to do? Fucking weave our clothes, become a blacksmith so I can create like cutlery to cook my food?
I've thought about it, but yeah, I know.
But even doing all that, y'all, we would have to go back to the dark ages to get there. It is fuckered up beyond belief. So I don't want anyone listening to any of this and saying, oh no, I supported a child rapist because I ate a meatball sub at Subway.
No,
don't go
you
there.
Ate a meatball sub at Subway.
You ate a meatball sub at Subway. Yeah. You ate a chicken sandwich.
You know who did do a lot of terrible things? The CEOs, the people that allowed it to happen.
Yes.
Those are the people that did wrong.
I want to know what it is that over a certain dollar amount, if you get it, you just become a giant piece of shit. I want to know why. I want to know why all your empathy goes away. I want to know why you do monstery shit like touch children inappropriately. What is going on?
Right.
Because I'm going to tell y'all, if I had, let's say I had like $5 million, do you know what I'd do? Nothing. I would eat taquitos and play Elder Scrolls all day and pet my dog.
I would be making charities. I would be rebuilding houses, buying up apartment buildings just to let people live in it for free. You know, I'd be doing all this
saying, like,
shit
let's just say it's perfectly
your own personal,
selfishly motivated.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do? And I want you guys to comment below. Because I think it takes like a fucking sociopath to go out and make that kind of money. Maybe that's not where we're at. And look, there are some good rich people. But that's like saying not all men. Like,
exactly.
Most rich people are fucked up.
Yep.
There are a few. Listen, my grandfather was a man of means. He had a couple million. And there, literally not a kinder man walked this earth. Like, his funeral was just full of all the people that he'd helped in his life. There were over 500 people at his funeral, and most of them had a story about how when they were having a real bad time, my grandpa saved them. His hairdresser was a Japanese woman, and I will tell you this, my grandpa had a problem with Japanese people. He got triggered because he fought in World War II in the Pacific Theater. He knew it wasn't their fault, but it just triggered him so much.
Yeah.
And his hairdresser was Japanese, and he used to bitch about it. But when her car broke down, he bought her a brand new car. Because she was a single mom. Mm. So yeah, some rich people are awesome. But most of the time I have found they are the most selfish, hateful weirdos I've ever met in my life. Maybe I'm just autistic and I don't understand stuff. Yeah. And y'all, can we just rap about something for a second that has nothing to do with sandwiches or capitalism?
Yeah.
Or child abuse.
Thank you.
I want to talk about rejection sensitivity dysphoria. What? So if you're not neurotypical and you have like ADHD or autism, and I suspect I have both, I also have OCD, anything that doesn't quite go right in your day ruins it. It just ruins it and tears it to little pieces, like minor criticism. Like, I didn't really like that. Oh, well, now I should go die in a hole. And no one likes me, and I'll never have friends, and I'm all alone, and no one understands me. Do any of y'all get that way? Like, just one or two bad interactions in a day, and I'm just fucking done. Can't do anything. I just cry, and like, I hate it because I'm a logical person, and I know it's not a big deal. But man, that's been my brain lately, and I think it's PMS is not helping. But it's just been a lot. I want to know what... Okay, 2023 started pretty good, right? It was a very mid-year, and that is what I asked for. I asked for a mild year.
This spring was beautiful.
Spring was gorgeous, hopeful.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was so naive.
Woo.
I had no idea what was ahead of me.
August, the great month of change and butt fucking without lube, just came in and was like, no, everything is bad.
Ruined everything.
Yeah, and now we're here, and the state of the world has me nervous and sweaty and sad, and like, I'm making it, but I'm limping to the finish line of this year. I guess I can be thankful that the majority of it was pretty mild, but it has gotten spicy towards the end. So you know what? I'm going to set my goals higher for next year.
I can't set any goals for next
year.
No,
you be quiet. I want a nice year. Not mild, just nice. Just nice and gentle. Just nice and sweet.
So
blessings. and some
I want
dollars.
JG Wentworth.
I need cash now, motherfucker.
Yes, blessings now, please.
Prayers up, hose down. Give me some money.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm,
know.
Pushing that button for the nurse constantly. Nurse,
Help me.
help.
Hamburger, help me.
Yeah.
So, in the spirit of something, because it's Halloween right now, and you may ask, Lillian, you love Halloween. What did you do? Nothing. I'm poor.
Yeah.
I sat here and researched the Subway child molester. That's what I did. And I didn't even play my Baldur's Gate because my computer's being weird, and I just want to cry. But you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to discount my soaps more. It's 50% off. I don't have a lot left. Really and truly, I think I only have like one or two of each scent. Some scents are sold out. But hey, this is for patrons only. If you want to grab... It won't be here on Halloween, obviously.
Because that's...
Today.
Well... It's over already.
But these soap designs are really cute and not necessarily Halloween specific. And they smell fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's like perfume.
It is. And it makes your whole bathroom smell super good. Mm-hmm. And if you get in Discord. Yes, it's great if you have eczema. And my lotion and my whip soap. I want to talk about my whip soap for a second. Just for a sec. Listen, if you shave your legs or underarms or your lady beard like I do, it makes your skin like baby butt soft. It is so nice. And the smell lingers for like ever. Usually in a wash off product like soap, the smell isn't going to stay on because it washes off. Because it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Emulsified. When something is emulsified, because if you're using oil and water to make soap, which you do, the lye emulsifies it. That means it washes off without leaving you oily. Yes. So, yeah, when things are emulsified, they usually don't leave a scent, but this shit do. Because I have a special formula. So buy it. Anyway, all this is 50% off. I'm going to not put it up on my website because I want it just 50% off for you guys. So please message me either on Facebook. You don't message me on Instagram. I'll never answer you. You can message me here. If you are waiting on a shipment, listen. I sent out over 50 packages this month alone. And that is a lot. And that is a blessing. Let's go ahead and be clear on that. But we had a little weather incident. And we didn't get really anything here. But it just caused package delays. So things are like running 1 to 2 days late, even though I pay for 2-day shipping always. But it is coming, so don't worry. But yeah, otherwise, hit me up. Let's get some soap moving out the door. I'm getting ready to work on some new jewelry pieces. Keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm always still working on merch. Yeah, I know it's been forever. I'm doing a lot of stuff. It'll happen. Don't worry. And, since we've gone down an episode a week also, I don't think we'll be taking December off.
I was thinking about that today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because we don't need to.
Yeah.
Y'all, my stress levels have plummeted.
Yeah.
Whew, I feel like I have so much more time to do episodes. Before I really felt I was rushing through some of them. Because there were some weeks where I was doing like 3 to 4. Whoa, no. We cannot do that. Lillian will go insane. Yeah. It's too much. So I'm really happy that we've decided to whittle it down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But otherwise, I will be putting up a vote because this came in, I think, second place. So I try and do, first place and second place when we vote on cases that I will cover. So I will put up some more cases. I want a fresh batch. So keep an eye out for that because I need to start research for it like a week ahead of time. Because I like to read a book and stuff on it. But yeah, thank you all for your continued support and all the nice, lovely messages. Just know I really appreciate it, especially on days where everything is hurting my feelings, including myself. It is really nice to know that I've made any difference in any type of way. Because, man, sometimes it really don't feel like I'm doing anything but treading water. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But Willow is now gainfully employed.
As of a few hours ago.
Good job.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get a job in this fucking economy.
Well, and getting online work, call center work, anything online, stay at home in Arkansas is
unheard of. It's just really difficult.
Like no big companies want to deal with Arkansas. So
our labor laws are garbage.
It's been a month of me filling out applications every single day only to get to the end of the application and be like, well, you don't qualify because of where you are. And so it has been, I don't want to cry. It's been really hard.
Yeah. Well, and so if you still are able and can, you want to help Willow out, all the information will be.
There's no charities that can help me. I called every single thing today, and there's no charities that can help me.
Yeah.
So,
because a lot of people be like, why don't you call Blit? Well, look, we did.
We live in Arkansas, and in the middle of the woods in Arkansas.
They do not care if you starve to death.
Especially if you're a woman.
They really hate women here.
Yep.
So if you want to help out, please don't feel pressure. Please don't put yourself out. But if you can, it is always appreciated. Always. Even $1. Just let's not go through the GoFundMe, though, because that shit takes out so many fees. Yeah, like, you lost $100 in fees.
At least.
Yeah, that sucks. We don't want your money going to fees. We want.
Right.
So I'll put her payment deets in the detailed description box, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But other than that, we love you. And I mean it as creepily as humanly possible.
Much.
Yeah, it's too much. Maybe I'm standing outside your window. I'm not. I'm very lazy. I can't. I'm tired. But anyway, we will see y'all next time. Good night. Us on your social media platform of choice. Linktree/Cruelty has all of the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Libby.